Hi everyone, today is day 11 of Inktober and the prompt is disgusting. I was a little stumped for this prompt, for one, because I like to draw cute things, not gross things, but also because it's challenging for me to draw expressions, so I didn't think I'd be able to pull off somebody being disgusted. So I was thinking about it, and then suddenly, actually, I remember it was like when I closed my eyes to fall asleep one night, I thought of sardines, because those are something that's kind of universally thought of as gross, kind of like Brussels sprouts is a food that a lot of people hate. I think the same thing goes for sardines, if not more so. So I just wrote down sardines in my phone, and then the next day fleshed out the idea a little bit more to have a big tin of sardines with a girl sitting on it with a fish bone in her mouth, which I think added a second layer of grossness. So I added some pantry type cans and jars in the background to add a little dimension. And honestly, this concept wasn't my favorite, especially when the day came to ink it. I was having some doubts. Then, the day of, I thought it would be super cute to draw Alexis from Schitt's Creek saying, "Ew, David!" But I just didn't have enough time to pull it off the way that I would have liked to, and ended up just going with the original sketch. So it's 11 days in, and I'm still finding myself struggling with contrast, and when I try to vary the different shades of gray, they all still kind of end up looking too similar, which is annoying. But I think part of it is just not being brave enough to just make something really dark, which I think is just a weakness in my art in general and not just in ink, because I'm always a little bit scared of ruining the drawing, which is something that I hope I'll get over. Either way, though, this piece wasn't my favorite, but it wasn't too bad, and at least it's done. day 12, the prompt was slippery. Originally, I had a really rough sketch of a girl sitting on like a rock of a big waterfall. But when the day came, I wasn't really feeling it, and I wanted to do a girl in a bathtub with candles and a glass of wine and just this kind of peaceful bath. Because we could all use that right now. I struggled a bit drawing out the composition because I wanted at first to get the perspective of like being able to see into the bath a little bit more, but one challenge for composition that I've been having throughout the whole month is this long, skinny, vertical pieces of paper that I've been working on. I have this weird thing where I want all my Inktober pieces to be done on the same paper and the same size. And I had decided to go for a cold press paper. And so this Fluid 100 cold press is a favorite of mine for watercolor, so I bought a couple packs of the 11 by 14 size and cut them in half. So it turns out to be a 7 by 11, and it's like a bit skinnier and taller than I'm used to working with proportionally. So just a few days into the challenge, I also realized that I was thinking as a watercolor artist and not an ink artist, and probably should have gone with a paper that had less texture for smoother line work, but I had already committed, so I'm just going with it. But anyway, that's besides the point. In the end, I figured out the composition and made it fit onto the paper and added a big window in the background, and thought it would be good to do like a dark night sky to contrast with the pale bathroom. And I thought it looked pretty good in the end, and it was a fun day of drawing, and it was relaxing. prompt for day 13 was dune. And I knew that I wanted to do something pretty simple, just a person standing with sand dunes in the background. And the sketch of the girl I had done in my sketchbook like a while ago and just had like this long hair blowing in the wind. And so when I was brainstorming for this prompt, I'd found it and I thought that it would go well with my idea and that the flowing hair would add some movement and interest to a concept that was pretty simple on its own. And if I could offer any advice to somebody doing Inktober, and also just artists in general, it's that you don't have to come up with drawings from scratch every single day. I personally am constantly doodling and, doing unfinished drawings in my sketchbook or in Procreate, and these can actually be really useful. Go through your old unfinished sketches and see if they can be repurposed in some way or if they spark fresh inspiration. Something that feels like a mindless drawing at the time can be turned into a finished piece later on. I think that's the purpose of sketching in general. It's so helpful to make that time to draw things that aren't for the purpose of posting on social media or showing anyone. And the more you do it, the better, because not only is it good practice, but who knows what creative inspiration these sketches will bring you in the future. Anyway, I was kind of nervous about the actual dunes for this piece, and I looked at a bunch of pictures on Pinterest of beautiful sand dunes, but I knew that these weren't something that could be depicted with line art, that their form would only come through when I shaded them. So I hadn't sketched them out or had any idea what they would even look like, or if they would even look like sand dunes. But in the end, I really like how they turned out, and this piece, even though it's so simple, became my new favorite piece that I'd done for Inktober. well, that's pretty much it for this video. If you made it this far, bless you. Thank you for joining me on this crazy ride. And thanks so much, really. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you soon with another video in a few days. Bye!